This video is going to be a full masterclass on how to actually get clients using Clay.com from A to Z 100%. This is not just one random webinar where you actually shown only half of the information. In this video, you can literally copy my process proven to work that I'm using for my own business and I'm teaching to all my students inside my Clay agency program to actually get more clients for themselves and to actually deliver better results to their clients. If you want to get the most out of this, I suggest to put my video on a side or on a second screen so you can literally copy and paste. Promise you will have a plug and play system that you can implement in your business today to actually get new clients. Let's apply this step by step together so that we can go from zero to actually having nothing to mapping the TAM of all the companies you can sell to, refining the TAM, personalization angles, putting everything into Clay, how to scale on Clay, exactly what to do, what table to open, what enrichment to use, how from the companies to actually get the people, from the people to get the email, how to validate the email, what sending platform, how to put the addresses, how to buy the domains, the copy strategy. I will give you the step-by-step process so that you can't go off the rails, so that you can test only what matters and get nearer and nearer to actually what works and can actually get meetings and clients for your own business. From copy strategy, we will go even into testing the results, email deliverability, and actually how to land in the primary inbox using cold emails. Okay guys, let's get into it. Let's start from scratch again. I'm super excited. And at the real beginning, what I usually suggest is starting from a question, and which is the TAM mapping question, which is the most important question you can ask yourself to actually start an outbound process, which is, where's your TAM listed? So where is your market? For example, let's say that you are selling to restaurants. The TAM, which is total addressable market, which is all the companies, all the restaurants you can sell to. So where is the place of the internet where your TAM is listed? For example, if you're selling to restaurants, it would be Google Maps. If you're selling to agencies, it would be, I don't know, LinkedIn. If you are selling to real estate brokers, it would be realtors.com. So before moving on with this video, try to figure out what is the best place of the internet where you can map your own market. If you have doubts, just comment and ask a question. I will reply immediately and give you some ideas. For example, let's make the case that we want to get clients for an email marketing agency. So getting clients for an email marketing agency. Of course, apply this to your own category, apply this to your own TAM, and let's go step by step so that we can actually start getting new meetings. Let's start from the beginning. TAM mapping. Email marketing is selling to e-commerces, right? Because we want companies with a lot of traffic and online checkout where we can actually apply our email marketing services and make e-commerces sell more using email marketing and not ads and not SEO, blah, blah, blah. So in terms of find companies, it would be store leads. Find companies, it would be e-commerces. I guess e-commerces with greater than $500,000 in revenue per year, maybe based in US. From this, we can actually understand that the best place to actually find these clients is store leads. Why store leads? Because it's the best database in the world to actually find e-commerce clients. How can we get access to store leads through Clay? Very easy. Starting from zero, new workbook, and on the left we can actually click on more sources, store leads, and we have store leads. Of course, if you're selling to restaurants, you have to start from maps. If you're selling to agencies, you have to start from find companies, where is that? And you can look for agencies. So it really depends to you, just try to think hard where you can start because it's 80% of the effort. So again, in our cases, more sources, store leads, commerce platform, Shopify, number of results, let's say 1,000, even 10,000, let's make it easy. Country, I really only want to work with United States. Filters, revenue, estimated monthly revenue maximum and estimated monthly revenue minimum. Okay, minimum, let's say 50,000, maximum, let's say 5 million per year. Okay, submit, and a couple of clicks, Clay will actually create all the list of companies. Once we have the list and everything is actually working, as you can see it's loading, we have all the information here. What we have to do is going to the next step. Now we have all the companies you can sell to, but the list is very dirty. In my case, yes, I have e-commerces, but a list from store leads, a list from Google Maps, a list from LinkedIn is never good. We actually have to apply AI agent to actually understand if the leads that we are in the list are 100% my fit. Because if you download a random list from Apollo, from ListKit, from Sales Navigator, whatever, the list is broken, guys. By the way, guys, all the things that I'm showing you are crazy, are extremely powerful. I literally made millions doing this, but the problem is when you're at the beginning, Clay and all these AI tools are actually expensive. The good news is that if you follow the playbook that I put you into the description, I created a very long guide in which you can actually scale Clay without using credits. Yeah, it is true. Using a subset of APIs, you can actually set up the right API so that you can scale 99% of Clay lists without using credits, without breaking the bank, and actually getting clients for very, very cheap. Check the link in the description, get the playbook, and start today in actually getting better results in a very cheap way with Clay.com. At least 70% of the list is broken, so you can't complain about getting results. And most of the times, people who complain about getting no results with cold emails, especially, usually it's because first, your copy sucks, or better, you have no value propositions. Secondly, the list sucks and you don't even realize. 99% the list sucks, and I will show you even in this example how the list is broken and how can we go from a broken list to a very good list. And this, by the way, guys, is step 2. Once we have the TAM, which is a generic mapping, we actually need to refine the TAM. Okay? Refine the TAM. And first, how can we refine a TAM? Usually I apply AI agents, and usually I don't even require credits. I figure out a way to actually scale all the tables without using credits, using GPT, using lead magic, and using formulas, basically. And in our very specific case, what we have to do to actually make the list better. I have a lot of experience working with e-commerces. It's a trial and error, but having a lot of experience with e-commerces, I know that to actually make the list better, I have to separate companies selling product versus selling services. This is the first. Why? Because most of the times they are not a fit, especially if you're selling services to e-commerces, like in this case, an email marketing agency. If you're selling email marketing services, and there are a lot of companies, a lot of websites with an e-commerce technology inside, but they are selling like travel, they are selling like holidays, they are selling like products like the Oura Ring with just one product, and it's not really a fit. And I figure out that separating the company selling products to the company selling services totally change the result. Secondly, I want to understand what is the category of products, because I don't like to sell to some categories, and I can even use this kind of variable as a personalization later. Third, I only want to work with e-commerces with greater than 50 products. A little bit for the reason that I mentioned before, because most of the times if you are selling less than 50 products, you are a very unique category, and most of the times you are not a fit. And by the way, guys, I don't have like a scientific explanation to this, but I had so many cases working with e-commerces that right now I simply know that this works because it worked for so many of my students, for so many of my clients, from SaaS to agencies, that is simply like this. Take it for granted, it really works. So how can I apply this knowledge? And you have to find the other criteria for your own niche for your own market. For example, if you're selling to agency, maybe you want an agency that only sell SEO. Maybe you want only agency that already have a CFO. So first, try to use your business acumen, as your business IQ as much as possible to put into words what you're looking for. Then you can basically translate this into a combination of these three things: GPT, lead magic, and formulas. Why? Because this do not require credits, not credits. I will show you how. And I figure out that I can basically scale 99% of the lists this way. Let's try to see how this applies to our own business case, which is selling to e-commerces and selling email marketing services. So first, selling product versus selling services. How can we do this? It's easy. It's enough to use Clay Agent. Clay Agent is a live version of GPT. Let's make the difference between these. GPT is basically the GPT that you have. Clay Agent is basically a live version of GPT. For example, if you actually ask for some updated information about a website, you need Clay Agent, not GPT. Lead Magic is a data provider that usually have like emails and LinkedIn enrichment, very useful. Formulas are free and they are not like GPT. GPT is intelligent. Formulas is just if else. If this greater than 50, return true. This is a formula. Cool. How can we use a combination of these four to actually get these three information or any kind of information that you actually need to create a better sales list? Let's do into Clay. Selling product versus selling services. How can I know this? It's easy. First, the only thing that I really need is the URL. Okay, let's call it URL. Now, what I need from these four? Clay Agent. Checking a very random website, I can understand with GPT if it is a live version, if they are selling products versus services. How can I do this? Easy. Add enrichment, the blue button, Clay Agent. First, I suggest to use GPT-4 Mini. Secondly, not Clay credits, but your own API. It's 10x cheaper. Again, prompt 4 / you can input variables, URL. Try to understand if this company is actually an e-commerce and it's selling products or services. Just return products or services. Cap the cost of everything to the minimum. I will show you a trick. You can basically force GPT and Clay Agent to only output what you really want, which is select, adoption, product, service. We are basically telling GPT or Clay Agent you can only reply product or service. Save and run the rows. Okay guys, as you can see, some are product and some are services. Just one agent, just one Clay Agent enrichment. Second, category of products. How can we do this? Easy, another Clay Agent, right? So duplicate, we can call this product versus service. We can call this category finder. And we can say something like for URL, try to understand what is the category of the products of this store. Just return maximum 3 words. Guys, another trick here, when you want like an open answer, just try to cap it with as little words as possible, because to AI, as a general rule, you have to ask for a constrained output. As you can see here, I was like or product or service, and here I'm like maximum 3 words. the more constrained is the output, the more constrained is the request that you're actually asking, and the better will be the results. Otherwise, you will go into AI hallucinations, which are very hard to predict, very hard to solve, especially at scale, especially when you have like a huge list. Okay, let's try save and run 10 rows. Pretty cool. Fashion, apparel, accessories, home gifts, cutting board, jewelry, bracelet, earrings. Okay, let me make it a little bit better. Okay, let's move this to a new column. Always move output to a new column. It's way easier to actually manage all the columns, and I will show you why in a moment. Let's try to understand if that e-commerce has more than 50 products. Guys, in this case, it's easy because in store leads, we are lucky enough to actually even have this kind of information. How can we can actually say we can create a formula, which I was telling you before, which is actually 100% free. It's easy. Add a column. You can have a formula in this kind of categories of output, and we call it. We can call it checkbox. We can call this product count number and edit column, use this icon formula, use AI. If product count greater than 50, return true. As you can see, guys, with GPT here you can actually create the formula, but if it is an if-else formula, if this is greater than this, then return this. If this starts with A, then return true. With formulas, you have to be simple, if-else. With GPT is intelligence, with Clay Agent is intelligence in real time. This is the real difference, okay? False, true, false, output is correct, save formula. Big number, by the way, very cool. Next is TAM Mapping completed. Refining the TAM completed. Personalization angle. People overcomplicate personalization. Yeah, we can with Clay create like crazy personalization at scale, but at least to start, I suggest to keep everything as simple as possible. We have to nail down first the offer and the value proposition, which is way more important in terms of conversion. How to create personalization every time so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, make things complicated, and we have a framework to actually work on it. Easy, you can just use these angles. Mention how you build a list, notice a problem they could have at scale, notice what some cool competitors are doing, mention something they do not have, and if you're working in local businesses, mention someone very near to them, geographic. In this case, the easiest would be mention how you build the list. I think all of this works. In this very specific case, the easiest would be, I would just mention that I made a list of e-commerces with a lot of products and they are selling on Shopify and they are selling a particular category. So it seems that I'm doing my research inside the website. One thing is coming up with a very random email and one thing is going into this website that I've never seen before, by the way, and saying something like, hey, very cool, I noticed your jewelry clothing store that is built on whatever is built, I think Shopify. If I can, value proposition, call to action, and I can be like extremely relevant, and maybe I can even mention the right case study if I have other case study in the jewelry niche. Next, how can we actually get the people? We can actually get the people in two ways usually, which is from Clay or Export Apollo or using Clay Agent. If those are businesses where the people are really present on LinkedIn, we can actually use Export Apollo or Clay, but many times, for example, for restaurants, restaurant owners are not on LinkedIn, so we won't find any kind of people. And the only thing we can use is Clay Agent saying, what is the owner of this restaurant? So always try both. Use Clay Agent and ask for what is the owner of this company URL, only return name and surname, and actually use this function, which is action. Find people at these companies, job title. Let's get like the more high-level decision makers. If the people are actually active on LinkedIn, it would be crazy easy because, again, as you can see, Clay is very effective you start from the list before, where you have put the filters, you get you put all the job titles, and literally import one click and you get all the people. This is crazy. Every time I do this in such a simple way, it's mind-blowing, but it's really effective. You should leverage it, and guys, it's free. Crazy enough, this is 100% free, and you can export this kind of data. So pretty amazing, I guess. As you can see, getting the people is extremely easy in 2025, and from getting the people, get the contact info. How can we get the contact info? Easy. Again, we can use lead magic, so we pay only for one API and we don't have to actually pay for Clay credits. Okay, next, lead magic. We want to get the email, we want to validate the email, and maybe we want to reach LinkedIn if you want to add more context in the messages. How can we do this? Easy, add enrichment, validate email. But to actually validate the email, put your own API, of course, if you can, otherwise use the credits. But I highly suggest to actually buy the plan literally directly from lead magic. Find work email and put the full name as an input and the company domain, because of course to actually get the email you need the first name, last name and company domain. Continue, save, runtime. Okay, now we have some emails. We actually have to validate those emails. I will show you why in a second, and by the way, this is the last section. We will anticipate a little. And again, lead magic, validate email only safe to send. This is very important, and I will show you why. Runtime rows. Here in particular, we're not getting a lot of emails, but I think that if we run more rows, we will get better results, and usually we have like better results than this, but I think you can get a very good idea. What is important here to understand, I will jump this section a moment to go directly here because it's very important. And I will give you an explanation why we are actually doing this with lead magic, what is verification validation, because it's extremely important. It is important because we have three kinds of emails. Validate means, let's say that it is Michael Sarugia and I work at apple.com. We will try all the combination, m.apple.com, michael.sarugia@apple.com, blah blah blah. And all of these addresses will be pinged and the server will reply in different ways, and one of this has a highest likelihood to actually be valid. The problem is valid doesn't mean safe to send, because we can get almost 50% of valid emails that are actually valid, but if you are sending cold emails at scale and we don't validate the emails twice, we will get 10-15% of bounce. The problem of bounce is that if we get a lot of bounce, we will burn all our domains and addresses, and in my opinion, is not worth it. Then maybe there are other people saying otherwise, but in my opinion, again, it's not worth it. Way better not to reinvent the wheel. Just copy it from someone who's already successful, has years of experience in doing this, and do not, again, guys, reinvent the wheel. So valid emails and safe to send usually are 35% of the list. If you want to get more emails, we will talk about this later, you will need to use tools like Scrubby, but first let's find a sequence that is winning. Otherwise it makes no sense to actually get more of the list, okay? How can we do this with lead magic? With lead magic it's extremely easy, because it's enough to find the email, validate the email, but in particular we want emails where the status is valid and the sub-status is empty. Again, it's enough to create like a checkbox. Let's call it valid email, and we can say something like if status is valid and sub-status is empty, return true. Again, we don't need GPT because it's a very simple if-else condition, and these are the ones that are valid, okay? Next, the only thing that is missing, and guys, my favorite, how to write copy, because guys, 99% of people, even agencies, even outbound expert, even people selling, even people doing courses on outbound, doesn't know how to write copy. And copy actually is the art of creating a value proposition that resonates with the big percentage of the list. You have to find what is the topic, what is the problem that the majority of the list is aware of, and actually execute on that problem. And especially in outbound, guys, think about it. You have too many things to actually test. And most of the times, making things easier is the solution. Because making things easier don't make you overcomplicate, don't make you waste too much time, and makes you to move very, very fast. And I really like people moving fast. And I have a one-to-one direct correlation between people that are successful, very successful in my programs, and people who move fast. It's not a chance, it's not random, it's not a case, okay? This is why the easiest way to think about copy is try to put everything in a template that is extremely easy, that forces you to only test what matters, which is the offer, which is the value proposition. Because guys, if you have, you're not running paid ads where you have like 2 million of possible customers, of possible clients. You're not like a TAM that is 2 million. It's not consumers where it makes sense to actually test the creativity and the button in yellow and A/B testing whatever you have in mind. No, it doesn't work. You're just wasting digital real estate. You're just wasting time. It takes time and money to actually send those emails. You already figure out that those enrichments cost money. The ROI is still very high, but you have to pay attention on what you do because you have a limited amount of time and money in general. And you have to try to extract as much money as possible from the market. Being smarter, not dumber, not overcomplicating the things. So if you use just this script, the script automatically forces you only to change what matters, which is this. How to use the script, and this is a exercise that I always do with one-to-one students. Let's try to come up with 3 value propositions that actually make sense. And guys, literally, I only test this in bold. Anything else, it doesn't move the needle as much as you think. How to find value propositions for cold emails? Domain knowledge. If you're an expert in your market and you really know your client, it's better. Interviewing your client, interviews, or GPT. For example, let's say that you're running a cold email agency, a Clay agency. Maybe you're not an expert in 27 different niches. Yeah, you can ask your clients, but usually your clients are not that expert as much as they think, so you have to figure out a way to move fast. How to do this with GPT? Let's try to figure out together. Okay, I am trying to write cold email copy. I am selling email marketing for e-commerces. Can you please help me and list 5 value proposition? Very cool. Makes no sense. Better value. Oh, way better. Way better. I really like this. How can we put this inside my copy? Easy. First, use this as a reference. Create a copy. And this is an exercise that I make all my one-to-one students actually do. I noticed your Shopify store, category Shopify store. So I noticed your women fashion apparel Shopify store. I noticed your luxury bags, wallet, jewelry Shopify store. I noticed your ceramic whatever Shopify store or WooCommerce store. Okay. Put value proposition 1 into this template. Very cool, very good actually. Let's try with another value proposition. Put more emphasis on paid ads. Because guys, basically I already know that the problems that e-commerce owners are more sensible are spend less on ads, acquire customer for less, or get more customer without spending on ads. If you can anchor your solution to one of these problems, they will listen. This is perfect. This is perfect. Especially if in the email we can actually mention the source of the traffic. Okay, amazing. Okay. Let's do another one. Yeah, I like this. As you can see, the value proposition actually drive most of the results. And once you have this kind of very advanced knowledge, it's easy to actually get results. As you can see, guys, AI and GPT is the year of asking the right questions, not getting the answer. Everybody can get the answer. Nobody can actually ask the right question, prioritize what actually matter. And in this case, the value proposition matter. If you're missing this, you will miss anything else, and you can't build this kind of automation, because now coming back with copy, it's easy. People come to me saying, hey, but I can't prompt, I can't write copy. It's not that you can't write copy. The problem is you can't ask the right questions. You don't know what actually drives results. You don't know what actually makes sense to test. This is the real problem, okay? Cool. Next, yeah, basically in terms of copy, I suggest to try to come up with at least 6 variants, 6 value propositions, so that we can launch all the 6, send 500 emails per variant, and finding the one that is doing at least one interested reply out of 100, 150, 250 sent. Take off all the others and scale to all the 10, the one that is winning. Okay, so for example, let's say that we come up with value prop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 using the GPT ideas and my template, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We send 500 test emails. So we send a total of 3,000 emails. No, total, yeah, 3,000 emails. And this get 1 interest, this 0, this 0, this 3, this 2, this 1. We only want to get this. We make the math, which is 500 over 3, which is equal to, amazing, 166. And that's it, guys. Crazy enough, in 90% of not the program, but one-to-one consultation that I do, and I consulted like the most famous lead gen agency out there, the one that you're probably following on LinkedIn, took my programs and at least asked information from me, or bought information from me. Like think about the most famous, they did actually. And having said this, when you know that if you send 500, you get 3 back, and your list is like in our case 5,000, guys, it's math. It means that if we find a value prop that is doing this in the testing phase with the first 3,000 emails, and our total list is 5K, we know that over 3 we will get, over 166 we will get 30 leads. It's math, because every 500 we get 3, and 500 is not scientifically and statistically significant one, but is very likely. And out of 5,000 it's very likely that we get 30 leads, which are a lot. 30 good leads, you can get 10 meetings and you can have enough business for 1 year, especially in email marketing where the lifetime value is a lot and people generally do not churn. Okay. And next is going back to people, moving everything to SmartLead, the sending provider. Okay. SmartLead, check SmartLead, open your SmartLead, create an account. I think this account is enough 90% of the times. What you have to do here is email campaign, create campaign, call it test, sequence, put the value propositions in this way, value prop 1, in this way, value prop 1, okay, add variant, add variant, variant, add variant, add variant, add variant. And I don't even use follow-ups most of the times, crazy enough, because I just want to test what is the value proposition that really resonate. So most of the times I don't even need this, but I just want the value propositions, okay? I only wrote 3, but you already figure out that it is just 1 click to get the other 3. You just have to find new value proposition and just make GPT doing all the things. You don't have to come up with like crazy things, okay? Yeah, maybe get rid of the double dash because people already know it's from AI. Okay, cool. Save and next, save, review campaign. Now let's go to Clay, add enrichment, smart lead, add lead to campaign. You have to connect the API. How to do this? It's easy. Add account, smart lead, go back, settings, security, copy. You can regenerate or whatever. Call it in the way that you want. Paste, save. Now it's connected. Okay. Select campaign. It was called test, if you remember. And you put all the variables that you have in Clay. So we are moving all the data, all the personalization from Clay to Smart Lead so we can be relevant at scale. What are the variables? It's easy. First name, category, technology, and you have to put manually in all the emails the same case studies. That's it. So 3 variables. How can we find them on Clay? Easy. First name, it's first name. Email, which is email. Custom fields, we want technology, and technology it's in the previous table, so it's not in the people table. So from the company table, We have to send technology in the people table, but it's easy to do. Okay, platform and category finder. It is called write to another table. Select table, find people, select. Okay, run the rows. As you can see, we are creating the automation here, but the platform and the category was still in the other table, but it's easy. With just one click, we can use an enrichment which is called write to another table. So from the company table, store leads, we can write to the people table in just one click. Okay, and now that we have the category and we have the platform. Okay, the only thing left now is moving all the variables that are missing, which are category and platform, from the company table to the people table, because otherwise we can't add them to Smart Lead. How can we do this? It's easy. It's enough to actually create a lookup multiple row, table to search, find people, find companies, target column, URL, contains domain, save, run 10 rows. Okay, last thing before moving everything from Clay to Smart Lead, because we really want to move all the data that we have on Clay, that we sourced and enriched, categorized on Clay. We want to move everything to Smart Lead so we can send outbound messages at scale and stay super relevant. So basically what we have to do is making sure that we have all the variables inside one table. So for example, in this case, if we check our copy, we have everything apart from category and the platform, because if you remember, we have like a company TAM table, and then we found all the people in another table, and basically you have to move those two variables from the company table to the people table. Don't worry, it's extremely easy to do this. It's enough to do other enrichment. Lookup. A lookup is a very famous function that was born into like databases and Excel, basically. So using a column, in this case URL, because you have both the URL column here and the URL column here, you can use this matching column to actually send data. How can you do this? Look up a single row, target column URLs, contain URL or company domain, save and run. And as you can see, for single URL, we will have all the variables that were missing, basically. So in this case, the category, amazing, and the platform, amazing, okay? And what we can do is add enrichment, finally, Smart Lead, add lead to campaign, Michael, put your own API in the way that I showed you before. Again, let's find the right campaign, okay? Matching email, first name, last name, custom fields, this is very important. The two that were missing are platform and category, which are now present, platform and category. Save and run 10 rows. And that's it. All the leads will be moved from Clay to Smart Lead. So if we go back, we can actually check that we have 7 new leads and with the right variables. Okay? So we can basically send anything from Clay to Smart Lead and actually start sending. By the way, guys, if you don't have like email addresses, it's extremely easy, especially on Smart Lead. This is why I always suggest to people to go on Smart Lead. Take again the easy path. As you can see in Smart Leads, it's extremely easy to get new domains and new addresses. You just click purchase mailbox. I suggest to like 50% Google, like this one is perfect, and 50% Outlook. It's extremely easy, guys. Just click proceed, and let's say that your company is called Blue Marketing, call it blueservices.com. Create domain, you will get like a list of possible domains, so you have to create, you can't send from the primary domain, you can select some domains that are very similar to yours, and from these save and next you can set up your image, first name, second name, and basically for each domain it will create from 1 to 5 different addresses. So in this way you will have the necessary tech stack to actually send at scale using Smart Lead and Clay without risking the reputation of your main domain. And that's it, guys. This is really how to go from zero, mapping the TAM, through all the process, testing the copy, refining the TAM, writing the copy, putting the copy on Smart Lead, only testing what matters, buying the domains, moving all the data from Clay to Smart Lead, and actually sending. You will get all the replies here in master inbox. The only thing to do is marking the lead as interested when they are interested, and replying, so that you can manage the lead and move the conversation into a one-to-one demo, so you can actually manage the demo and hopefully it will become a deal. Now guys, thanks so much to having watched this video till here. It's a long video. I hope you will take the most from this video, but guys, to be fair, this is just the standard, more classical way of actually sourcing the leads and actually using cold outreach. What if I tell you that there are other very interesting ways to actually get leads from very high intent sources and creating automated playbooks so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time creating new leads? Click the video that you see over here to see actually how me leveraging different and secret data sources to create amazing lead generation strategies and how can you apply them for your own business. Click the video here and I see you over there.